What's up, guys and gals? I'm Dan. This is Sweat Equity. Thanks for watching today. Just gonna do a couple of updates on some things that I'm working on. I've got two new tractors. Both are Craftsman. This is one of them right here. I'll get to this in a minute, but we've got this one and there's another black one over behind the camper here. What I want to do today is upgrade the E90 a little bit. I've had this car for maybe a month or two now, and there's one thing above everything else that drives me crazy about this car, and I'll let you take your guesses. If you know me, you probably wouldn't have an idea. I'm also gonna do a cold start here. It's been sitting in the garage for probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. It is leaking oil. I have changed the oil on it. I put in 5W40 liquid moly. It's a little higher mileage. I think the slightly higher weight. The 0W40, 5W40 is normally better for these engines anyway. A lot of people will at least argue that. So I did the oil change. I replaced the DTML pump, the evaporative emissions leak detection pump. We're going to see if the check engine light is still off. I did not do any diagnostics for that. I literally just found the code, researched it on Identifix. My dealership subscribes to that service, and it was pretty much that was what was going to fix it. It makes sense. I didn't see any wire issues when I was under there, so we'll see here if the check engine light is still off. So did that, changed the oil, put some new wiper blades on it. That's about really about it. So still get the sunroof warning. That's one thing that I need to try to look into, but it's not too bad. It has this service light that comes up, but when I look it up with Carly, it doesn't actually give me an option to reset anything, so I might have to do it through the cluster itself. But at least as of right now, I'm low on gas, but no check engine light has come back. So I'm gonna go ahead and back the car up. I'm gonna actually put you outside so you can watch it back out. I want you to notice something about the car. You got a good look at the side profile there, right? And just the stance, or the lack thereof stance, with those wheels. I mean, look at this. Look how much gap is in that fender right there. I'm not sure if I said it in any of the other videos, but actually the only new car that I've ever had was a 2007 E90, but it was a 335i with a 6-speed manual. It was way more expensive. I mean, it was literally like as much as my yearly salary was at the time. It was like $45,000 or something like that. And I leased it. It wasn't like I actually bought it. I leased it for 3 years, and it was my, all right, young and dumb, you do stupid things. But anyway, so I have had this car before, only it was, probably like a $15,000 more expensive example. But when you have a new BMWs, evidently they send you things like this. They sent this to me probably like a year after I got the car. I don't even think it wasn't like I got it right away. And I think it was like part of like a little folder, because I kind of like ripped it out and framed it, because I thought, that's kind of cool. But the actual designer's drawing of this car, though I'm looking at now, it does not actually have the xenon headlights in this picture. It has the regular halogen headlights. But just look at those wheels. So I've got a set of those wheels. These are the 18-inch style 162. These are staggered 18-inch wheels. The fronts are 225, 35, 18. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the rear. Rear is 255, 35, 18. The fronts are 225, 40, 18. This is what the car was supposed to have, as far as, who designed the car, who wanted the car to look a certain way. It is the bean counters that decided that the base model would get these wheels. I paid 300 bucks for these. The guy was asking for. They have tires. That's the main reason that I bought them. They were probably 3 different people had these for sale, all without tires except this guy, and the tires look pretty good. I mean, they're Sumitomo, you know, certainly not the worst. The date is actually, no, it's actually 2018, so not bad at all. Only 3 or 4 years old. So I'm gonna get these out of here, and we're gonna go ahead and get these things on the car. Oh yeah, and this is what the car did. Not after the days of sitting here. I think this happened within the first few hours of me pulling in here. It's weird. This is how I know it's a rear main seal leak, because as opposed to like an oil pan leak, because it did not do this. The car sat over here, and there are some stains over here, but these stains have been here. I parked the car over here the other day for a couple days, but all I had done was start it up and move it from another spot in the driveway, actually on the grass. So it wasn't hot, so it didn't drip. This is after me driving home from work, an hour of driving. The oil was hot, under pressure, and it relieved itself on the floor. This is also a smooth cement surface, so it probably looks worse than it really is. But I got some Lucas stop leak that we're gonna go ahead and just put in the thing and just see if it makes anything better. I'm gonna eventually do the repair, the rear main seal, but it's a big job. You have to take the transmission out. You know, that's a big enough job. I think the book time was like 6.4, which actually seems kind of low. It is at least a rear-wheel drive car, not all-wheel drive, so that makes it significantly easier, I would have to think. That's already a huge difference. The car is sitting up a little higher, and it will once it's kind of settled, just from jacking it up. But you can see these fill out the wheel wells like much better than the 16-inch do. You can kind of look at that side, see where it hits, and come over here to this side, look at the old one. It's like the wheel is like lost in there. In my opinion, at least, it makes a world of difference. And the center caps swap over even better. Yeah, so that just increases the value of that car by like $2,000 in my opinion. I mean, I know it really doesn't, but it sure just makes it look a lot better. Just got to try to get them cleaned up, and I'll put some tire shine on them. But yeah, so much better. All right, so let me just kind of show you what we've got going on with the current tractor situation. So this right here, this is a mid or late 2000s Craftsman DLT 3000. What I'm gathering is the D means deluxe, so it's a deluxe lawn tractor 3000. The other one I have over there is an LT 2000. I'll show you that in a minute. This one, both these engines had, both tractors had locked up Briggs and Strattons on them. So what I did was I went and got 2 of these. This one I paid 30 bucks for this particular engine here, so 70 for the tractor, 30 for the engine. I'll have to put a $25 battery on it. Basically that's it, except for this particular one has the battery in the front and the gas tank in the back, which basically what that means is it needs a fuel pump in order to suck the fuel from the gas tank, which this engine, I would imagine in most cases, would just have a gas tank sitting right here above it, which the other one does, and that would allow it to gravity feed where you do not need a fuel pump. So everything is hooked up. I have not tried to start it because basically it won't run on its own fuel supply because this is the fuel pump. I just put a self tapper right here to hold it on, which is fine. And this is the gas line coming from the back right here, comes up in here down to the carburetor. This line right here is what I need to hook up. And on the engine that wasn't this tractor, the dipstick tube had a hose fitting right here, and that is what gave the pulse, you know, the crankcase pulse to the fuel pump. So I have to probably get a slightly longer hose, and I just ordered some pipe fittings. So I'm going to drill a hole in this and put one of them in, and probably just like epoxy it in or something. It doesn't have to be like a crazy well sealed thing, because it's just theoretically it's going to be an air pulse going through there. There shouldn't really be any oil up this high. If there was, it wouldn't really work because it would just be contaminating the pump all the time. So that's basically where I'm at on that. I ordered like 6 of them for $6, so like $1 a piece. I'm sure it's going to need something, but it's actually really a nice tractor. It's in really good shape. The guy I bought it from just had like a small little house in a subdivision. He really didn't even need a riding mower. So, you know, you look at the tires, they're pretty new looking, not much wear. They've all been holding air the whole time. It's been sitting here for about a week now. So that's that one. That should be pretty much ready to go. At this point, I'm trying to stockpile a couple of these for the spring, and I'm only really going to get ones that I think are a little bit nicer than the average piece of junk that you find on Marketplace for 50 or 100 bucks. And this is the other one here. So this one, I paid $100 for this one. This is newer. It's a 2011, so it's got a little newer look to it. I think most people would probably look at this and think it could have been sold like in the last couple of years, once everything is, you know, kind of cleaned up a little bit. This engine is off of the John Deere Sabre, but I had this red cover to kind of match the Craftsman red look over the green Sabre one. Same exact engine, 14.5 horsepower. This one has the gas tank right here, so I don't have to worry about it, you know, needing a fuel pump. It just gravity feeds. This one is running and mowing as it is. I sharpened the blades while I had the deck off. I put one of the tires from the Sabre on this right front, and it's the exact same size. The rim is a slightly lighter shade of gray. That's the only difference. I'm going to go ahead and do the same with this side too, because this side has gone flat also. So the Sabre, which I paid nothing for, has provided an engine and 2 front tires for this. I might need to put a belt on this. I hear it squealing just a little bit. It's actually one of the drive belts. This one is a CVT transmission. It's not a hydrostatic. The other one over there was a hydrostatic. This is the kind that has the forward and reverse, and then you have the foot pedal, just like the Toro that I had a while back. The only issue with this one right now is that slight belt squeal. Although it still pulls hills, everything just fine. It drives just fine. Just you hear a little squeal. The other issue is that the safeties on this are screwed up. I actually have the kill wire off of the ignition coil right now. Otherwise, anytime you do anything, it'll shut the mower off. It's like it's not seeing the seat safety or something like that. I haven't really dug into it too deeply, because those are things that I can look at more in the fall or the off season. Right now I'm trying to get nice tractors and get engines on them and make them 90% complete. Like I can get on this thing, start it up, and run it, and it, you know, it does shut off actually pretty quickly just off of the fuel solenoid. So I guess I can see. Watch it make a liar out of me here. Let's see. So choke all the way up, and brake is on. Oop. All right, so this might have an issue with the, I might have to clean the carburetor on this. I started a couple days after it sat, but it seems like it's dripping gas because it's actually kind of hydrolocking right now. I had to take the spark plug out a week ago, let it blow it out, and then it ran just fine. So I think the needle and seat or the float or something is just dirty. I haven't done anything with the carburetor on this. I knew the engine ran, and I just threw it on here, and that's kind of where I'm at with it. It does run. I cut all this back here a week ago. It needs to be cut again. So this works. This is easy stuff from here on out. I just, you know, right now it's easier to get these things than it is earlier in the spring or early to midsummer, when anything that's under 100, I say under 150, is sold within the first hour. Paid $100 for this, $70 for the other one. Probably gonna try to get a couple more, because I think each of these two I could easily get 500 for in the fall, especially just the way they look. I mean, they have, you know, slightly less horsepower engines than they came with, but the 14.5 is all that you need for a 42 inch. I've, you know, used a couple with that size, and they go right through, you know, as heavy a grass as anybody should be cutting with no problem. Does not slow the engine down at all. Doesn't slow the blades down at all. And they can pull hills. I'm just thinking, pull it right up this hill right here, no problem. You might spin the tires at some point, but it will pull it all the way up if you have traction. So the 14.5, 15-ish horsepower is plenty for something of this size. You know, this had 18.5, okay, whatever. The other one had a 21, which is more than the Scott's garden tractor has. It's just, you just don't need that much power on something this small unless you're doing more than it's really meant to do. You may have the horsepower, but you don't have the transmission or the you know, the frame strength to really tow anything that you need that much power on something like this. But anyway, that's what's going on with the tractors. Looks like the wheels have dried over here. I just love the profile of these, you know, the thin profile. I think this looks so much better with the car. I'm glad that they were still silver and not just plastic dipped or painted black or something stupid that everybody seems to want to do these days. It's like I almost thought about doing it, but I was like, no, I think the silver on silver will look pretty good. We just need to get those wheels looking a little bit more black. Well, that just makes that car look so much better. So I'm happy with that now. I'm not going to go too crazy with this car because it is just supposed to be a daily. I'm gonna, I think for now at least, attempt to do a headlight restoration on what I've got, because they do work, they're fine, and if they were not yellow it would be a whole lot better. But first thing I'm going to do is put the stop leak in. So I stopped at Walmart before I met the guy because all I had was $100 bills, and I was like, he's asking $400. I don't want to be stuck to where I can't give him like $350, you know, because I didn't know how firm the guy was going to be on price. I could have got it cheaper than $300, I guarantee you. I made a mistake of, you know, I asked him, I said, you know, what's the lowest you take? And he's pausing, and for whatever reason, I threw out 300, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll take 300. So I kind of made a mistake on that. I probably could have offered him 2 and got it for like 2 1/4 or something like that, but it's okay. At least the 2 rear tires I think will be fine. I might need to buy the front tires, but all the rims, they did not seem to have any bends or anything in them. There's a little bit of curb rash, but you can't expect any less than that. I think it was a fair deal for everybody. So I got this This is just a temporary solution to try to make the rear main seal leak a little bit less. Did a little bit of quick research, there's the word I'm looking for, on YouTube. And the Lucas stop leak, not so much, you know, there's like a Lucas just oil additive also, but this is specifically for a stop leak. This seemed to have the best rating of what the couple of reviews that I looked at. So I thought, what the hell, it was like $8 or $9. This is 1 quart. I'm probably just gonna, because there's no dipstick on these engines, all you can do is look at the, this doesn't even have iDrive, so it's through the combination meter. Sorry, that's Toyota's lingo for instrument cluster, or combi, whatever BMW calls it. You can't even check it when it's cold. I think it has to be running for a little while to check it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna dump it in, and in a day or two I'll try to look at that. If I have to drain a little bit out, I won't drive it real hard or anything. I'm pretty sure these engines can, you know, take an extra quart without being like overfilled or anything like that. You know, so I'm just gonna, rather than draining anything right now, it's leaked a little bit. I mean, certainly not a quart, nowhere near a quart, I'm sure. But I'm just gonna go ahead and put this in as it is, and I'll probably drive it a little bit locally, see how it does. As far as the directions, use 20% of system capacity. Example, 1 quart Lucas oil stop leak to 4 quarts of motor oil. So theoretically I could use more because this holds like 7 quarts, but that's okay. Leaking engines are usually older engines. Lucas engine oil stop leak is not only a leak stopper, but also an excellent additive for worn engines. The user can expect less engine noise, higher oil pressure, and less oil consumption as the Lucas additives fill the space between the worn parts. Lucas engine oil stop leak is also effective at stopping leaks in automatic transmissions, hydrostat transmissions, interesting, so I put this in a tractor as well, or hydraulic systems. 10% is usually adequate. More can be used in badly worn units. Excellent for application or use in marine applications. So, you know, it's probably not going to do much, you know what I'm saying? But it's worth a shot, because I'm not going to be doing this for a while. I just know I'm not, if ever. You know, so if I can throw something in there that makes it a little bit better, let's make sure that I don't park it in the garage anymore. Might be a little bit of blow-by on this engine too, which, you know, it's got 250,000 miles on it, so you really can't expect much less, but there's a little bit of residue around the cap. I remember that this oil filter, when I changed it, doesn't really look like it's leaking now, at least the O-ring around here. So it looked like that had been there for a long time. It was a really flattened out O-ring on that oil filter. So who knows if the last people even changed the filter. So more like this stuff is thick as anything. Yeah. It's thick, but it's not crazy. I've never heard of anybody having an issue with the Lucas product, like it's being counterproductive, you know, doing anything bad. Let's see if we can just let that drain like that. So, not very exciting, I know, but I think that it's worth a shot. I'll let that go, and I'm gonna probably buff these lights off camera, because it's basically the same thing that I did with the hood on the Scotch tractor that I just did a video on. I'm really just gonna go ahead and I'll mask off the areas, and I'm gonna hit it with a 400 grit sanding sponge. Then I'll go to 600 grit, 1000 grit, and then a 2000 grit. Possibly I'll do a 1500 in between, just to be sure. And at that point, I probably am just gonna polish it. This is literally exactly the way I did that. If I was at work and I was doing this through one of the kits that we get from BG Products at work, we actually spray a clear coat on it. basically sand it down to actually only 1,000 grit. I always add the 2,000 grit as an extra step, and then I spray like a clear coat on. And yeah, it looks okay, and you can kind of see where I think this has had that done possibly in the past. I don't know, maybe not. Sometimes you can see where, like after it's been on there for a few years, like you can just kind of see that starting to fade and flake off, that clear coat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to buff it and then polish it, and we'll see how long that lasts. I'm planning on upgrading these lights within a year anyway, hopefully sooner. Something, I may just go with an eBay light, I don't know. There's a couple that seem like they got pretty good reviews and they're not that expensive. So for now I just want to make these look better, and probably the fog lights also. Anyway, I guess I'll go ahead and sign off for this one. We just did a quick little cosmetic upgrade. I did have 2 leaks in the tires that were on here. The 2 front were pretty worn out as it was. The rear were fine. So hopefully I can at least get some money back for selling those. It might take a while to sell those, but I think someone would buy them eventually for like $200 with tires on them that they can throw on and use right away, which is a big thing. Most people, the fact that these already had tires on them, I can at least just throw them on and use them and see which ones I need to replace. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe, all that helps. I'm going to try to do a little bit of different stuff here and there. You know, I got the car stuff, I got the tractor stuff. We're going to be doing some work in our family room eventually. That my wife Julie will be helping me with that, hopefully. We just have an old paneled family room. It's a nice room. It's really big. It's got a fireplace, but it just looks like it was lost in the 70s. And we just want to kind of update it cheaply. We just want to put some new floor in, paint the paneling probably like an off-white, and I want to kind of have like the lower part of the paneling like stained, something a little bit nicer though. It's basically just kind of it fortunately doesn't have a heavy lacquer finish on or anything like that on there now. It's mostly just kind of natural, so I think I could like kind of lightly sand it maybe and hit it with like a darker stain and give it a more modern, like chocolate brown color stain or something like that for the bottom half, because I kind of want to have it still have like a rustic feeling. But anyway, stay tuned for that. That should be coming soon. It might be more of a winter project, but we'll see. I kind of want to get going on that too. So subscribe for that. Got a lot more Beamer stuff coming. Keep you updated on the tractors. You know, you can kind of see how it's, you know, with a little bit of sweat equity, you can actually make some money on these tractors. So, all right, guys, to the next one. Peace. Yeah, so this is the family room. It's a mess right now. We've just got some. You can see how big it is. There's the door right here goes over into the bar, which that's another video. I'll give you a tour of my bar. But it's a good sized room. It's messy right now. We had to pull the carpet up in here a few years ago because the basement flooded a little bit. It has not happened since, but I'm going to put like a tongue and groove vinyl plank down here that can be, you know, taken up, that doesn't have any kind of adhesive. But yeah, it's a big room. There's a window right there. Nice fireplace. We actually have 2 fireplaces, one upstairs in the living room and one down here. But this paneling is actually pretty natural looking, I would say. So I feel like it should be easy to paint this, and also like kind of do like a chair rail down somewhere around here and have the lower portion of it stained something a little darker. At least that's my thought. So anyway, just thought I'd give you a little sneak peek.